Hi guys, this is my Ficus Benghalensis or Audrey, or what's the other name for it? Banyan. If you haven't seen my unboxing for this particular plant, I'm going to try and link it down below. I got this, I'm going to try and link it down below, but when I got this, she was only in a 2 or 2.5 inch pot or grower pot, and now she's in a 4-inch grower pot. She hasn't grown a lot, but in the between 1 to a little over 2 weeks that I've had her, she did grow a little bit more, that I felt a little bit more comfortable, and I did transplant her to a slightly bigger pot because she is still tiny. I did just measure her and she is 2 inches tall. She's really, really tiny, guys. So that's how tiny she is. I didn't do a plant vlog right away, so I'm just gonna tell you how I took care of her in the past, in the the weeks that I've had her. So she was sitting right at an east facing window. Watered her when just the top part was dry because she was in a 2-inch pot. So, and she's so tiny that I can't risk on letting the soil deeper or or more depth of that to be drier, because then it would cause something like that on the leaves. That is, the plant is telling you it's underwatered. So I watered her, I would say, it wasn't twice a week, but I would say I would check her every day. And it was if there is no soil residue when I touch the top part. This was when she was only in a smaller pot. And as you can see right now that there is soil that is still carrying over with my skin. If it did do that, I don't water her. And when I did touch this is also moist. I did water her, I think, yesterday. This was transplanted yesterday, I believe, or no, 2 days ago. Transplanted 2 days ago, I think. And because when I transplanted her, the material or the medium that was used in the grower pot that she was in was very, very saturated still. I didn't really feel comfortable in watering her that same day. Usually I do water, but I didn't. She was just looking kind of sad in that grower pot. And when I did take her out, the roots really have grown since she's been with me. And that is due to the supplements that I do add with the plants that I do get. That's why the root system always grows heavily with my plants. And it's also anti-shock, and everything that I use to water this plant will be down in the description section. So do check that out, including all of my social media accounts. And I hope you want to connect with me in my other platforms as well. So anyway, she sits in an east-facing window. I am using an all-purpose potting soil. I do not recommend Scott's or Miracle Grow or anything in that company at all, because their potting soil holds a ton of moisture, even their regular potting soil. So I don't recommend that in anything. All of my plants, I've already gotten rid of all of my Miracle Grow stuff. But anyway, I do use Schultz because their potting soil itself actually is better than Miracle Grow's cactus soil, if that makes any sense. It retains enough moisture, but not too much that it saturates your plant. And ficus plants usually like a little bit more moisture, but they don't want to be saturated. So it's fast draining enough. And I use it with any of my plants that are not necessarily needing cactus soil. That's my favorite soil, and that's the soil that I use probably like 90% of my plants. So that's what I use. I water this one. I just watered her, but I will probably water her when the 1/8 to 1/4 of the top part of the soil is going to be dry, because like this part over here, this has no root system. This part over here from here does have a root system from this plant. So because of that, she's definitely not going to want to be watered as often as I did when she was in a smaller pot. In a smaller pot, like I said before, I watered her probably every 3 to 4 days because she was in such a tiny pot. In the very beginning, it was like every 5 days. And as weeks went by with me, because her root system grew more and more, it became every 4 days, and then became every 3 days. And when it was like that, it was between 2 to 3 days, then I decided to switch her into a slightly bigger pot. So her root system really was more established before I did transplant her, but it is still a small plant, and it is still a small pot. Now, rule of thumb is the smaller the pot, the smaller the plant, they are higher chance of actually getting overwatered or underwatered and dying, because they don't really have that much root system, and you don't really have that much soil to really help them in regards if they need like a tiny little bit of adjustment for moisture. So when it comes to like small plants like this, I'm not talking about succulents or cacti, because those can tolerate drought. But when it comes to like other plants that are not succulent or cacti, and they are in a 2-inch pot, a 3-inch pot, 4-inch pot, you really have to check the smaller the pot every day. For a 4-inch pot like this, I would probably check her every 2 to 3 days. I always check my plants like every 2 days. If it's still a little moist, depending on the species of plant, I will probably check in 2 days, and I have a reminder for that. But for something this small, I would probably check her maybe every day or every 2 days. For a bigger pot, you can probably do much more than that, every 2 to 3 days, maybe even 2 to 4 days, depending on the species and depending on the requirements of the plant. So I put her in an east-facing window. I think because I really planned on putting her in a west-facing window, but because she was so tiny, I don't really have a spot for something that tiny. It would have been very wobbly or just not very safe for her, and she could have fallen, and it would have been a mess, and she would have been injured. So I decided to just keep her on an east-facing window, but I did just move her today in a west-facing window, and my son thought it was so cute because she is now in a brighter facing window, and that she's just so tiny and adorable. This was probably like my smallest plant ever. So I was very, very worried about it. And also, just an update, if you did watch my unboxing, I was supposed to get 2 of these. Hertz was very good. I reached out to them right away, and they refunded me on the plant because they were sold out. So they couldn't ship me the plant that they forgot to pack in with the rest. Because I was planning on, because they came in 2-inch or 2.5-inch pots, I was planning on merging these two together, because then it would be easier to do that rather than just have one teeny tiny plant. So that's what I was planning to do. And unfortunately that didn't happen, because if that did happen, I would have already transplanted to both of them when they came and put them in a 4-inch pot together, and probably would have transplanted them sooner in a 6-inch pot. But, you know, we can't really tell. It's just that I do have a ton of ficus, but this is my first Audrey. I have wanted this plant for probably 3 years, and I had the chance to get one, and it was the smallest one. Every single time I get like a bigger one, it's either, to me, it's overpriced, or I just, sometimes like I don't even care about the price anymore, but it's just out of stock, or when I'm on my way to pay for it, it just says, oh, you're out of luck. It's out of stock now. So anyway, so this is my Audrey, and she is just so adorable, and I can't really wait for her to keep growing and doing the journey with my plant vlog, because she's my tiniest plant. She's the most babyest of all, and I can't wait to just update her whenever, you know, she just sprouts up, and show you guys what I've been living with. Because number one, my plant vlogs really are for me. Number two, it's for anybody else that is curious and interested to follow the journey of my plants, because I've actually had family and friends that were very interested and curious. I don't know if they were just polite, and I just redirect them to, that was really that sparked my idea, and that was how I documented my plants, and people got interested and loved that I did document that. And so I kind of thought I'll just add it on my channel, and now this is how it is now. If you guys have any questions or anything to do with this particular plant, if you have this plant and you have any tips, feel free to let everybody know in the comment section down below. I love hearing from you guys all the time. I hope you enjoyed my plant vlog. You can hit the like, subscribe, and of course the bell so you're notified every single time I do upload a new video. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.